Hi, everybody. Welcome to January 31st and the Aligning with Success call. I'm Mike DiMuccio. I want to thank, I guess, Leo and whoever else helped out with kickstarting this call, as I was just finishing a call with our CEO and a young up-and-coming Sovereign Life team. Anyway, I'm grateful that we are here at the end of the month. This is the last day of the month. I guess we should probably get off this call as soon as possible so we can finish the month with a storm and kickstart February, which is going to be a great month as well. So before we move on to anything, why don't we just get a recap of what was discussed in these last 10 or so minutes?
Leo was hosting, so Leo can do the recap. He's practicing.
Give us a recap, wouldn't you?
Oh, geez. Are you ready for your French lesson? No, I just explained last week. I'm so proud because Louis called me last Wednesday night. I'm on the phone after the Niken next. Can you imagine? Luis Casuga on my line. It's first time he's called me. You speak with him every day, but me for the first time on the phone, of course. And he said, can you be to AFP, Awake to Five Pillar event?
Awaken the Five Pillars event, yeah. Up and coming in February 17, 18, 19 for silvers and above.
Yeah, he asked me to do a speaker. Well, I said, what do you want to talk about? Leo, you do a great success last year. Explain that, because a lot of people in America and North Canadian, we don't know what you do. It's time now to explain. It's okay. That's what I got to do. Don't miss that.
And the only other thing we mentioned, Michael, was besides Leo's team is Sovereign Team. And that Leo shared also that many people think he just sends out all these emails, but it's more than that, similar to Sovereign Team. It's forming a team, and it's the training and the et cetera that he's put in place, the team development as well.
Yeah,
that's what we were doing until you came on. And we had other helpers, Maggie and Sherry, and let me see, we had some other helpers too.
Mikhail,
yes, absolutely.
And my sister,
Solange.
You know what? Awesome. My system is work because I began the year with three new consultants, and one of them, she's on the line, Marie-Claude. Marie-Claude, can you
welcome. Welcome, Marie-Claude. We haven't met yet. Welcome to the Niken family.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here tonight with you guys. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Congratulations to you, Leo.
Yes. Facebook friend. I don't know her before Christmas.
And you made friends on Facebook.
Yeah, just talk, and when she say, what do you do exactly? Yes.
The magic question. You asked him what he does.
Yes.
So Marie, what did he tell you? What does he do? How did he answer you?
Actually, he spoke about the Japanese technology that he was really passionate about. And he started to talk to me about it. And I mentioned him that I was aware of Niken in 2005 with the ionic machine that I use in my clinic. And then he started to talk to me about different products that, and he said to me, well, it would be nice if you could just experiment it, and if you could get people for a presentation. And that's when we started to talk about the different products. And then I made some purchases, and a friend of mine needed some help last Friday, and that's when we met, and we did our first presentation together, and obviously we got results.
What kind of clinic
here I
do you
am.
have? What kind of clinic do you have? You said
I'm
you have
actually, yeah, I'm actually a nurse, and I practice for feet care. Not long ago, I started just doing that because I was working in hospitals and clinics. And then I was also doing colonics many years ago. That's when I knew Niken. And then now that I'm back in my own clinic, I started to do reflexology, polarity, and also different kind of energy treatments. and I got beautiful results. And I was like, okay, that would be good to add, because people need, because people have different issues. Of course, they need therapists, but they need also material to take care of themselves. And the best thing for me is to teach people how to be independent and well aware of how they feel and connected to, themselves, and be able to use different materials to how do you say, calm the pain, and be comfortable, have a beautiful life, just enjoy life without pain, pain-free life.
Yes. So I happen to be a nurse, and Sherry is a massage therapist, and this is called a collaborative global community. So we're in the United States and we help one another. And this is an example of an ABC, the three-way. And you have the most successful player of last year as Leo. And
Yes.
Michael DiMuccio has been, he started this Launch Partners initiative of relaunching North America, not just Canada, Michael, North America. And that was 6 or 7 years ago, at least 6 years ago. So this is perfect timing, especially if you were involved in 2005. And so this is a good way that we could do some of this on Monday Nights Align with Success. Would you agree, Michael? So this kind of dialogue and welcoming.
There's certainly an option, an opening for creating community. But this call is aligning with success.
That's what aligning with success is.
Not
Yes.
exactly.
Okay, take it over, boss. Yes.
Thanks. Okay. Welcome back. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, everybody. Michaela. Thank you, Mary Claude. Everybody who's helped with this start. First of all, we are at the end of the first month, so I want to let's get our focus back into kind of what we talked about last week. If you remember last week's call, those of you who haven't listened to last week's call, I really, really want to encourage you to listen to last Monday's Aligning with Success call. If you want to know where to find it, go to the Royal Alliance YouTube channel. Under playlists, you'll see primarily mine, Aligning with Success, and Ben's mentoring call. Those are the most populated and most recent presentations that have been recorded and warehoused there. But last week's call was particularly interesting and good. It was really about the concept of aligning with success and about how bringing things into focus so that you can attract what you're looking for with greater ease and conviction. And when you hit that frequency, when you get yourself into that frequency where it's not something that requires you to think about it, then it's a natural course of every day. An example is Leo, he doesn't think about it. He's just now, that's his cruise control. His cruise control is making contact and inviting people into this process every day. That's Leo on cruise control. I mean, in fact, it would be like he crashed the car if he didn't make contact with somebody today. So how do you get into that mode? How do you get to be that person where making contact is not something that requires a huge amount of courage on your part? And it doesn't require a whole bunch of self-motivation and, talking to yourself. I mean, how do you go from being that person to being Leo, who's like chill? And, every day he's just reaching out to people because he's living on planet Earth with other people. And he doesn't have a problem talking with other people. So bridging that gap between where you are, where you'd like to be is a question of closing the gap of being someone who is detached from their true authentic self. And then is somebody who can then just be themselves in every situation with effortlessly, with ease, being their authentic self, celebrating and sharing with somebody what is it that they're excited about, they're passionate about. Michaela, I saw you had your finger up. Was that not a...
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to crack a joke and say that the answer to Leo was 23 years behind Naked. Sorry. That's the tip.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if those 23 years were all, they were not all peaches and cream. And if you hear his story, he ran into the wall. He had a downline that pretty much quit on him because they didn't want to work as hard as he was working.
But today they count. The 23 years altogether, today they count.
Yeah, but think about it. Think about that comment. people will see what you do, and they will either want to do that or not want to do that, depending on what they see you doing. So that means the very first conversation you have with somebody, the very first contact you have with somebody, how you go about that is going to be a reflection of what they're thinking is what they need to do to be successful in this, if they perceive you as successful in this. And if they can't see themselves doing what you're doing, then they'll never want to join and take that up. So one of the things that you want to think about is, am I making this too hard on myself and therefore how others are perceiving it? Is it too difficult for me to simplify it? Like, what do you need to do to make it simple? That's why a system is so great, because a system takes the thinking out of it. The thinking is making the system. Once you've thought it through, perfected it, tweaked it, whatever, you don't have to think about it anymore. It's now just do. So you get into the mood and you do, rather than having to constantly think about it. So aligning with a system is aligning with success, especially if that system shows successful results. One of the things I was talking to my my new team about was that entrepreneurs are in the habit, or entrepreneurs must develop the habit of being results oriented versus activity oriented. I think we talked about that as well last week. Maybe we didn't, but being results oriented versus activity oriented is really important. What do I mean by that? Well, people who trade time for money are activity oriented, because it's the amount of time that they put into something, whatever it is that something is they're doing, for which they get paid. That's activity oriented. Results oriented is professions like sales, for instance. You know, you don't get paid for trying to sell a car. You get paid for selling a car. You don't get paid for trying to sell a home. You get paid when the home sells. So it's results that makes the entrepreneurial world run. But when you compare apples to apples, being the employment world versus the entrepreneurial world, where would you rather be? Certainly in terms of income, we know the difference, that it's the entrepreneurial world where wealth is possible, not the employee world. So wealth creation is a function of a mental condition. Think about that. Being results oriented versus being activity oriented is a mental condition. It's a mental state of mind. So start comparing yourself, or start analyzing that part of you, start measuring that part of you, which may have an expectation of a certain reward for a certain amount of time, and say, okay, that's the world I come from, where I'm trading time for money. And we know that relationship creates limited amount of time, limited amount of money, and start becoming results oriented. I'll give you an example of that, by the way. This is what I wanted to share with you guys today. I'm going to show you the screen and then I'll describe what I did. So we're going to go into full screen mode. Whoops, wrong. We're going to go into speaker mode. Okay, so now you see me on the screen. Now, these are my notes from my meeting with my niece, Elena. Okay, you can see her name up here. And we've got Club Ki, Team Kaizen, the requirements. We've got expectations for income, passive income, by the way, very specifically, that's passive income. That's income being earned in 6% income, 5,000 a month within 3 years, which I'll give you the understanding of how do you calculate. That represents 140,000 points inside of her 6%, her generations, and 140,000 points OV is somebody who's just gone past diamond, not yet royal diamond. So that kind of gives us a snapshot of what we're building visually. And now we go to, okay, so if the goals here are Club Ki Team Kaizen, we know what the numbers are in terms of the monthly expectation. So let's break this down into what do we have to create in terms of the results, daily, weekly, and monthly. And we'll work backwards. We'll go with monthly, and then we'll break that down to what does that mean weekly, and what does that mean daily, and what's the volume that produces. And then across, it should have been across the top, it was actually across the bottom. The results are number of people contacted, invited, prospected, and invited who actually engage the process every day, every week, every month. Then the next column over is the number of customers that we create as a consequence of that. The number of consultants is the next column over. The number of executives produced in the next column over, and the number of silvers produced in the next column over. These are the things that we're measuring right now. Now, you can see there's some spaces that are they just have a line in them, because you're not going to produce a silver every day. That's not going to happen. You're not going to produce a silver every month. That's not going to happen. But can you produce one silver per leg per month if that was what you were focused on? One silver per leg per month. Now, what would that mean? Let me just give you a description of that. So here's Elena, and she has her first silver already. Okay, so she has a person, Zach. So she has one silver leg. Now, if she was focused on one silver per leg per month, then where this leg is concerned, she's looking to find a silver somewhere under that person. That would be a silver under Zach. We call that taprooting. You're looking for the next silver in that leg. So where Zach's leg is concerned, where's the silver going to come from? It's not going to be Zach. He's already silver. It's going to be somebody under Zach. So she's going to look for who's that somebody under Zach that she can lock in on and really help get their business off the ground and create the momentum and the activity that results in that person hitting the ranks, or maybe hitting Club Ki, or whatever it is that's going to drive that behavior to silver. So that's Elena's function where that leg is concerned. So we lock in on, do you understand what your mission is this month concerning that leg? Great, good. What happens if there is a silver that happens this month under that leg? Then next month, what is Elena doing with this leg? One silver per leg per month. So where's the next silver going to come from? One more down. So she's going to look for the next silver down. So now Elena is on the hunt to help, not Zach, not Rose, but the next person under Rose who's going to go silver. So where Elena's focus and objective is, where that leg is concerned, is break a silver in that leg every month, or find somebody to break as a silver in that leg every month. And do they go silver every month? Maybe not. Maybe you still have to just find somebody, but the goal is there and the focus is there. So you don't change the goal, you just change the strategy. That's that leg. But Elena only has one silver leg. So what is Elena doing for Elena? Not what is she doing for Zach? What is Elena doing for Elena? She has to find a silver. She has to help create another silver leg. Well, if she doesn't have a prospect for that, what is Elena busy doing? Finding one. So she's going to get into the activity of prospecting and sponsoring until she identifies somebody who wants to go now. Not next month, not the month after, now. So Elena is on the hunt for somebody who's going to go silver now. Where Zach's leg is concerned, she's on the hunt for somebody who's going to go silver now under Zach. So now that's one silver per leg per month. And so if Elena formulates a second silver, let me show you what that looks like. And this is going to be helpful for those of you who are silver or above. So let's got Zach here. So we're looking for, this is Elena. So Elena's at the top. She's got Zach as a silver leg, and now she's looking to find a silver under Zach. That would be the one silver per leg where that leg is concerned. And now she needs to do something for herself, which is find another silver leg. So all of her activity is going to be focused on those two question marks. Now, what happens if she does find those silvers this month, next month, whatever it is? Then what? One silver per leg per month. So under Zach's leg, we need to find a silver. Under the second leg, we need to find a silver. But what about Elena? She needs to find another silver. And so now that's Elena's focus at that point in time. 1 silver per leg per month. So as a silver, what your focus is 1 silver per leg per month. In other words, help somebody achieve what you've achieved. It's not about doing something you haven't done, other than maybe helping somebody else do it. So duplication is about helping other people achieve what you've learned, what you've done. If it's contacting and inviting somebody with some success, teach them. Because if they can do it like you're doing it, good stuff. If it's helping somebody, which I love doing, by the way, as a rule, hit the first incentive, power start. If power start is your gig, your thing, you got it. You know, that's one of your first measures for somebody. Hey, let's do the power start. Then duplicate it. Help that person who did power start, help somebody do power start. So it's teach what you know. Teach what you know. Duplicate what you know. Now, Ellen is a gold. So what she can do is go beyond silver. She can actually help somebody now go silver. And how she went gold is by helping somebody go silver. So when Zach went silver, in the month that Zach went silver, Elena went gold. So now, if she's focused on helping somebody under Zach go silver, what do you think Zach is focused on? Gold, because he's a silver. So he knows that he can help somebody go silver, generate volume plus other volume, because that's what he's got to focus on, 1 silver per leg per month. So does Zach have to focus on 1 silver per leg per month. And that's how he goes gold. So the business plan over here is every month, 1 silver per leg per month. Now, how many executives do we set as a goal for Elena every month? She felt three was the comfortable number. 3 was the comfortable number. Help 3 people achieve executive, which means around 1 per month, 1 per week. And of course, not every day. And that 3 times 1,500 points is 4,500 points. So we know where that volume is. Now, if we've got 3 people becoming executive, how many people have to be sponsored in order for those 3 to emerge as executive? The answer is the rule of thirds, 9, which is about 3 per week. And we're not sponsoring every day necessarily, but around 3 per week. And if and I asked her, what's the average your consultants are joining with? You know, give me an average. And so we figured it out. We just said, okay, let's round that down to 1,200 points. So we got 4,500 points from the people going executive. And then the other 9 are around 1,200 points. And then, let me get this off my screen. Okay, there. And then let's work out what's the daily where the customer, or excuse me, the numbers where the customers are concerned. Well, if you've sponsored 9 people, you've probably sold 9 people products. That's, again, the rule of thirds, about 3 per week. And so she's got some customers. And I said, okay, what's your average bin where the customers are in terms of volume? She gave me the number, and it's 1,800. It's about 200 points per customer on average. This is her numbers. So we got 1,800 from customers. We got 1,200 from people who just joined the team. And we've got 4,500 from the people who are going executive this month. That's 7,000 points, 7,500 points. Okay, there's the volume. Is that volume going to help Elena hit her target of Club Ki and Team Kaizen? Absolutely. Now, let's work it backwards one more thing. What does that mean in terms of the number of prospects we need to contact? We need to contact every month, 27 prospects, because that leads to 9 sponsored. That leads to 3 people going executive. That means every week around 8. That means every day around 1. 1 new prospect in the process every day leads to these results. So this is a plan. Now, will she work the plan? Will she execute the plan? Who's that up to? But it is a plan. I'd rather have a plan than no plan. So this gives her something to focus on because it will naturally take the course. If she's engaging 1 new, and then the question came up, Elena, where are you going to find the number of people, because I don't know how many it's going to take for you to get that 1 engagement. Because, and by the way, how this all started was, how many people did you invite to the call the other day? And she told me. I said, how many of those people confirmed they were going to be on the call? None of them. Guess how many showed up on the call? None of them. So what does that tell you? There's a gap between their understanding of inviting somebody and actually having somebody commit to come. That gap has to be closed. Why is there a gap? Because maybe there's a lack of knowledge or understanding, or maybe there's a lack of courage to say, hey, need to know if you're going to be there. I need to reserve your seat or whatever. So we need to close the gap between her expectations of inviting and people showing up. And how we close that gap is we get more conversation, more dialogue, so that there's an actual commitment. There is an actual person on the other end saying, I'll be there. And then I said, and what if they say to you, I'll try to be there? And then I asked the group, as I asked this question, what does that mean? I said, that means under no circumstances, even with a gun to their head, will they be there. That's what it means. So when you hear the try word, then guess what? You're hearing the wrong thing. So go back and say, well, hey, whoa, you're going to try to be there, or you're going to be there. Now, somebody new in the business, somebody new to business may have a hard time saying this to a friend or somebody they've known for a while. And I say to them, look, we have to close the gap between the way you are currently operating and thinking to somebody who gets results. And the somebody who gets results doesn't mince words. They don't even use the word try. So if you're hearing somebody say try and you're letting them say that to you without you objecting to that, that means you're somebody who uses that word when you need to manipulate a situation. That's not being in integrity. And so get rid of that word from your vocabulary. And when you hear it, address it so that you know, and the other person knows, that you didn't communicate properly, that there needs to be closure, that they're either going to be there and they're not going to be there. And so I've encouraged every member of the team, new people, try it. Try saying it. Sometimes you have to be the person who says no first to a prospect. Let me repeat that. Sometimes you have to be the person who says no first. And when that happens, your confidence level goes, and now you're not the same person in the next conversation. You're now a person who has the ability to say no first. That means you understand that you're not a victim, that you're not going to be manipulated by somebody who's not being in integrity. It changes you. And when you change, your circumstances begin to reflect that change. Humans being more is about being more in integrity with that which you are. That's what we talked about last week. That's what we mean by aligning. Yeah, you attract a new vibe, Mikhail just added. So start working on a plan. I gave you one just now. This is a good plan. How many of you would like to have a $5,000 a month passive income? By the way, just anybody here know what that means? How much money would you have to have in an investment? I can't even say the bank because, that's not even legitimate anymore. How much money would you have to have in some kind of an investment to get $5,000 a month in passive income? What kind of capital would you need out there at risk, earning 6%, by the way? It'd be 6%.
It's $1.5 million.
It's about $1.5 million. So
Well, 2 million yields 100,000 a year.
Okay, so $1.5 million, somewhere between $1 million and $1.5 million would yield $60,000 a year passive income, which is your $5,000 a month, which is, guess what? Makes you a millionaire. It's the equivalent of actually having an asset over $1 million. Your Nikken business earning $5,000 a month passive income as a diamond is an asset that's worth over $1 million. So if you ever want to be a millionaire, build an asset making you $5,000 a month passive income, and you've done it. Well, if you have any good ideas about that, I got one. It's called Niken. Not that hard. Just, get comfortable making a contact a day, inviting them into this process and engaging them, and see where that lands you. And, I think by the end of the next few months, you'll kind of get a feel for it. And then you'll be a pro just like Leo. And then you'll be creating results as well, just like Leo and Sherry and Madeline and all the other success stories you've heard. So, and Barb, and who else do we have that's Team Kaizen on this line? So Paul, who just went platinum. So think about it, guys. They say that this business is simple, not easy. It is. It's get comfortable reaching out and touching somebody's life. I just got off a call with our CEO, but I asked him to share his vision for 2025 to this young audience and his story. And he tells his story, and he just wanted to be of service. If that guy is not being of service on any given day, he's just not going to be a happy camper. He's wired that way. And that's it. It's be of service, which means be of service. If you're thinking about yourself and how you feel and how you're going to look and how they're going to respond to you, and what if they say no, and it's me, it's all about me. That's when you go out the door and you're only thinking about me, or get on the call and you're thinking about me, meaning what if they say no, what if they're going to, that's you thinking about you. That's not you thinking about them. If you're thinking about them, you're not thinking about you. And if you're not thinking about you, you're not going to come across that way. So guess what? Your results are going to change. Wow. Yeah. So there's a plan, 7,500 points a month in volume, making one new contact correction, inviting somebody into the process of investigating Niken, one engagement. Oh, back to the story. So then where are the people going to come from? Where are the people going to come from that you're going to have to talk to get that one engagement? And everybody on this screen has their number. Is it 1 in 2 people? Is it 1 in 3 people? Do you have to get your skill set up still? So if you're maybe 1 in 4 people or 1 in 5 people, whatever your number is, it's your number. And you'll improve on that number with experience. That means you need 3, 4, 5 people that you can interface with to have that one person say, yeah, tell me more. Where's that going to come from? Well, for me, what I teach and where I started is it comes from my list. It all starts with people I know. It all starts with people we know. My young group, they're social media, yada, yada, right? They're all into social media. I said, you know what? And my daughter admitted to me on the call the other day, she said, it took me about 2 or 3 years to build up my social media following because of the stuff that I was talking about before Niken. And so when I started talking about Niken and what that represented, there were people saying, hey, that sounds interesting. Tell me more. I said, but you can't sponsor somebody today who has no social media presence and expect them to hold off building a Niken business for the next 2 or 3 years while they build the reputation on social media. That's not duplicatable. So how do we get that person started today? The answer is get their phone out and start putting the contacts down. Everybody knows people. So start with the people you know. Now, that doesn't mean don't do social media. Do it. Build it up. 2, 3 years from now, they'll be breaking down your door. You won't have time for everybody. You'll have to start putting them through filters just before they get to talk to you. That's great. We're going to get there. But I need to have a process that anybody can start with today, whether they're social media savvy or not. That process is their list. Learn how to create that list, learn how to contact and invite from that list, learn how to ask referrals from that list, and you'll have an endless source of contacts. That's a skill. That's one of the very first fundamental things they have to be good at, because when you're good at social media, then getting people to learn about what you're interested in is something you're already good at. So I don't have to teach you that. Besides, I'm not even any good at that. I don't know anything about that. You can learn from others who are already doing that. But what I need is a system that works for everybody always, regardless of how old they are, regardless of what their social media status is, etc. And that is the system, the tried old true. Everybody knows somebody. Let's show them how to reach out and touch that somebody. That's a system. So don't bypass the most fundamental thing and encourage that thing to happen. By the way, this tool, like most of the tools that I have, is available through Life in Balance Tools. It's a company that provides us with this beautiful service of having our materials in print. Thank God for them. And by the way, the new catalogs are available. I personally like the small one because the small one is easy to mail. How many of you received one from me, by the way, in the mail? Have you ever received one in the mail? Because I have a habit of sending anybody who does 500 points volume a package, and it comes with a bunch of stuff. And I've fallen behind because I knew the year was coming to an end. The incentives wouldn't be as relevant. So I now have a new print. So all of you who are waiting or haven't gotten yours, I'll be getting yours out. So that's the thing that I like to do. I like to keep people informed, and I like to incentivize people who are performing and give them a little bit of a pat on the back. So I don't know what you do for your team, but recognition is the simplest form of giving somebody a leg up. Anyway, that's the stuff that I wanted to talk about today. Does anybody have any thoughts or questions or comments about it? Paul, you have your hand up?
Yes, I love the system, but I love what you also said at the beginning, which is if it's in you, if you're attracting this in you and reflecting it, you won't have any trouble implementing a system. This one is really good, but yeah, I know for myself, there was a big change when I left gold and became platinum. Something clicked inside of me that has not been the same. And I'm going with that momentum now because if, I want that to continue, but that will depend on results. I'll keep it going, but results make it a whole lot easier to keep it going. So
yeah, and it's learning which results you need to be tracking and measuring. By the way, there was a tool put out on our WhatsApp chat, on our Core Consultant WhatsApp chat. If you're not on the Core Consultant WhatsApp chat, that's the main chat for most of our Nikan community. What I suggest you do is also register or sign up for the Core Consultant newsletter. Let me give you the coordinates for that, because that also leads you to being able to sign up with the WhatsApp chat. Excuse me, it's bit.ly/ let me just, bit.ly. Can somebody type this in the chat? bit.ly/ CC newsletter subscribe, all one word. So again, bit.ly/ CC newsletter subscribe. And then you can access, you'll get the newsletter every week. And in the newsletter, there are links to this call, there's links to the events calendar, there's links and it's a great, there's some great information. Ben does a fantastic job in the editorial. Last week's was a killer newsletter. What else? Yeah, and it just gives you the links that you need. CC newsletter subscribe, perfect. Which stands for Core Consultant Newsletter Subscribe. So what was I going to say? It'll come to me. Barb, you had a comment?
Yes, I just want to share, I mean, your whole principle or underlying guidance about having a system, doing what resonates with you, making it simple, not task oriented, is so important. And like everybody knows, my way is totally different. But in January, I've sponsored 3 people. 2 of them are executive, and the other one will be executive tomorrow. And it's not about, anyway, I just want to share. It's about what resonates with me and how I contact people and who I contact. So I just think it's so important to be comfortable with what you're doing.
That is the biggest gap for somebody new. The biggest gap you have as a sponsor when you're sponsoring somebody new is helping them close the gap between their identity as they know themselves in the world they're living in, their economic circles and so forth, what they do for a living, and what they perceive what it means to be a Nikken consultant, a Nikken business builder. They think the gap is wide. In their mind, they don't even know what it means. They're like, I'm completely lost. I don't know what it means. You know, these guys haven't even given me an orientation. Where's the coffee machine? You know, where's the bathroom? Like, they haven't gotten a tour of the office. They don't know what it means to be a Nikken consultant. They know what it means to be a doctor or a nurse or, you know, a hairdresser or, you know, a housekeeper or whatever. That they know, because that's the life they're living. But this they don't know. You need to help them close the gap. And how you do that is you show them that it's just about them being themselves and having a story to share, having something new and exciting to share, just like a new movie, a new book, a new restaurant. They do it all the time. But right now, the picture they have of Nikken, because if you're good, you've shared with them all the benefits. And they don't get that when they share a movie. They don't get that when they share a book. They don't get that when they share a restaurant. So they haven't put the two together. They haven't realized, yeah, the difference is when we share, the outcome is considerably more significant than just feeling good about going to a movie. But it's still us sharing our enthusiasm about something.
And Mike, including the ABC, today I was with Barb's relationshiping model, and it was picking up the phone and people that you know, and she goes out to lunch with them and whatever. So for the new woman tonight, the first name, I got to see where first, Marie. Barb is a nurse also, so our vintage is a little older than yours, but today she had me on ABC with her, and this woman, she told me at a time, so she was our age, but she has a daughter that's a master's prepared nurse that wants out of the business that she's in, and someone else that was worried about losing their job, and she was going to set up her own business, etc. And then there's a granddaughter, and so Barb pulled me in. And so initially it was answering the product questions that she had about sisters and brothers and whatever, and then leading into that. So with that ABC of then helping to bridge that gap, Michael, and that was the role that I did play of where we are now, because this woman was in Nikken before, maybe 20 years ago. So this daughter that's the master's prepared clinician or whatever that wants her own business, knows of it, had looked at network marketing, wanted to start her own business. So then there was the connections of bridging that gap of what you started out with tonight, the quadrant, the cash flow quadrant of what's different, and then who else to connect to. So it's something, again, that we don't often use enough, is the ABCs, once we have that person to help validate that gap and bring in.
That's the beauty of the ABC. It closes the gap of the person who feels insecure, of the person whose identity is still not synchronized with bringing Nikken into their storyboard, with the person who doesn't understand the products or has a difficult time articulating about it because they just don't know them, or the business model. The ABC is the thing that closes the gap. So at the end of the day, what you're hearing here is the people who are so comfortable being who they are in their skin, sharing Nikken with passion and enthusiasm, are making stuff happen. And the newest person is the person who has the biggest gap between their current identity and the identity of somebody who's perfectly comfortable being in the skin of a Nikan consultant. So the whole process is about closing this gap and trying to do that as quickly as possible with baby steps. And those baby steps are helped along with the ABC as the key elixir. It's the key ingredient to closing the gap. I'm sure everybody here who's been part of the success story of Leo or having their own success story will say, I'm certain of it, couldn't do it without Leo. He's a key factor in closing the gap because they allow that to happen. And he, of course, is knowledgeable enough to know it has to happen. And so where there's a gap, there's a lack of success if it doesn't get closed. So if you've got people on your team who aren't calling you, aren't talking to you, understand the problem is they have not yet identified with this as a solution, or they haven't identified with this as to how do I conduct myself? Who am I? I want you to write this down. We're going to close on this. This is going to be the title of this talk. This is from my mentor, Bob Proctor. I remember he used to say this all the time in the seminars. For me to be free, I gotta be me.
Which is what Barb just said.
Yeah.
I'd like to add one more thing. So Barb is a team Tai Chi, and she's at 9,000 or whatever, and has her first 3 people in the first month. So that's the example of what you had on Alina's
Is
plan.
exactly, in fact,
That's the example.
Barb, that's the exact example that I just wrote down. So here we are with validation that, yeah, this is it. It's
I love that quote.
for me to be free, I gotta be me.
I
And
love it.
honestly, if you can help somebody, you guys are a little bit more advanced than, you know, the ordinary person. And we have a need to help 10 million new people get involved in this. So there's a gap, big gap that we got to help close. And it starts with you getting out there and reaching out there and saying, hey, I got something, have a look, and then help close the gap. If they can see it for themselves and they can feel that this is an opportunity for them to really let loose, really be themselves. Wow. So thanks everybody for joining this call. Thanks everybody for kicking it off, and share it. You know, if you like it, share it. It's going to be on the YouTube channel. It's going to be on the WhatsApp chat as well probably in the next hour. So thanks for joining everybody. Have yourself an amazing month and close this month with a bang, and let's get February started off with a bang. Congratulations, by the way, Barb. By the way, I have 2 people joined. One is an executive. 6,000 and something points. So I'm up there. All right, everybody.
And to make sure it's team Tai Chi for next year, right, Michael? Yes.
Right
Yeah.
on.
Do you have that on your written plan?
Right on. Well, you know what? I know that I want my kids to go to Japan, so I know I'm gonna be one of those people there chaperoning them. So everybody, have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Remember kickoff call tomorrow.
Yep. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.